Hello everyone. We are back. Oh, Elijah just turned off the shower. I thought I was gonna be able to sneak this little chat in with just you and me. I am so happy you're here today because we are talking about something that is near and dear to every girl's heart, and that is your wedding day. Oh Lord, did you hear the monster get out of the bathroom? Oh. Just pretend he's not right there. Come on, say hello to your fans.
Hello, fans.
They can't ever see your head.
Really?
He's like,
hello, fans.
Does he even exist?
I know you pretended to turn off.
Today, we are talking about something that is near and dear to every girl's heart. Like, if you haven't thought about this since the time you were like 5 years old, I don't even know. Are you living? It's your wedding day, folks. It's your wedding day. It's the day you've always dreamed of. It's perfect weather, perfect guy, perfect venue. It's just perfect, right? Well, today I'm talking about 5 wedding regrets. I know it's hard to think back on the most magical day of your life and think that you would have regrets, but literally I remember the night of our wedding when we had left, we had drove off, we were newly fresh off the press married, and immediately began nitpicking the day. Like, why did we do that? That was just the most perfect little day. Sometimes we have little things that we wish we could change after even the most magical, wonderful moment of our lives. And I'll tell you this, our wedding day was wild. We got married in the midst of COVID, like in the peak of COVID, we got married. And so October 2020, we walked down the aisle, we gathered 140-ish people, and we partied. We had the most amazing, wild party. And it was so fun and so magical on so many levels. And one thing I think though that I realized about myself in the wedding planning process, I'm such a big vision person. I'm actually not so much in the weeds and details of things. I don't actually care that much about that kind of stuff. I love when somebody else does. And so looking back on my wedding day, I feel like the big vision for it was totally accomplished. Like, we gathered people that meant the world to us to celebrate our relationship and celebrate our marriage. And we celebrated. Like, we had an amazing dance party and we just cherished those moments with each other. It was just really special and significant on so many different levels. I think the overarching theme and things we desired for a wedding day totally happened. And then there were those minor little tiny details of the day that felt like, what even happened? And I spent a lot of time after the fact really processing what even. I regret that. Why didn't I think about that? Or X, Y, and Z. And a lot of it, truthfully, ladies, it is out of your control. I think you have to hold your wedding day with open hands. Like, anything can happen and there's just stuff you cannot control. I look back on our wedding day, it was like perfect weather. You know, all of our friends and family are gathered together, even in the midst of a global pandemic. Like, friends have been able to travel across borders, and from Australia and Canada and different countries have come to make it to our wedding day. Like, it felt so special and so significant. But leading up to our wedding day, there was a lot of stress around the fact that there was COVID. And we kind of just kept saying like, well, I felt peace about the date. And I think if anything, that is what kept us sane in the midst of planning our wedding in the midst of COVID. So today, I just want to chat about 5 things that I would go back and do differently. 5 things that I would change about my wedding planning process that I hope are helpful for you in the future, or if you're planning a wedding. Let's jump in. Oh my goodness. Okay, the first thing I regret about my wedding is, what even was I thinking having a bachelorette party the week of my wedding? I was actually like really chill, was not a bridezilla leading up to the wedding. The week of the wedding, I was the most stressed. I was so stressed. And on top of that, I was supposed to be celebrating and having my bachelorette party, but that wasn't the original plan. I was supposed to have my bachelorette party a month before the wedding, but with all of the anxiety surrounding illness in that period of time, when I began to feel sick, I called my bridesmaids and I told them, I think we need to postpone. I think I need to go get tested. I think we need to just wait and see how things turn out. But I just do not think that I should be partying this weekend. So bridesmaids that were flying from out of state canceled their flights. We canceled the bachelorette party and just said, okay, to be determined, rain check. And so it ended up being the week of the wedding that we had a bachelorette party. And it was just chaotic. Like it was just one thing that just was like, did not go to plan. There ended up being like crazy winds, and we were supposed to have this little bachelorette sleepover getaway at the farm where we got married, yet they turned off the electricity and the water because of the high winds. And so we were driving out there when I got a call that was the case. And Elijah came and saved the day. He did come out. He drove out as fast as he could, and he started a fire in the fireplace. It still wasn't quite the same without being able to turn on any lights. So I'll just say, just don't plan your bachelorette party the week of your wedding. Like, you should be enjoying family, enjoying preparation, taking a chill pill, relaxed as best as you can, and just set aside time to just be with your family, be with people that are coming in from out of town. If you're having a destination wedding, spend time with your fiance, being connected, etc. That leads me into my second regret. Because we both were having our bachelorette and our bachelor parties the week of the wedding, we did not have like a moment to connect as a couple before the big day. We had spent the whole week being with our people and entertaining our own people, and honestly kind of being on different levels of expectation of what that week would look like. I would say we had different expectations for the week of our wedding, and that kind of led to a lot of stress. For myself, 1, I didn't expect to be having a bachelorette party. 2, I was expecting to be able to spend that time with people that were coming in from out of town. So having to balance all of it and then having Elijah be gone on a bachelor party, I just felt really out of sort and off balance and so stressed and so overwhelmed. And I wished, looking back, that we had set aside a time, whether that was a morning or an afternoon or something in the week of our wedding, to just be us together and intentional about being together and kind of just connecting before the big day. Like our last time as an engaged couple, not married, feeling connected before our wedding day. Because ultimately, we got to the wedding day and had spent the week so like celebrating and so many fun things, of course, but we also got to the wedding day and hadn't seen each other that whole week, had been like woo woo, doing all these things, entertaining all these people. And I got to the wedding day feeling like, I need time to just connect with you. Like, how are you? How have you been? Like, it just felt like we were all in a bit of a swirl the week of the wedding, a bit of a whirl trying to make it all happen and pull it all off. So it was a bit wild. My third regret. Okay. Well, ladies, little did I know, also due to a pandemic wedding, I had to travel 6 hours to find a wedding dress shop that would allow me to try a wedding dress on in person. And that's challenging in itself, let me tell you, okay? But I wish, looking back, that I had cared and thought way more about, one, what made me feel beautiful in a dress, but two, what I truly felt super comfortable in. Granted, I didn't let the tightness of my dress stop me from dancing, I will tell you that, but I look back and thought, oh, I wish that I cared a little bit more about how I comfortably felt in the dress, not just how beautifully I felt in the dress. So that definitely something I look back on and I'm like, I could have been more comfortable, yet I loved my dress. But girl, let me tell you, you don't need to care about what anyone else is thinking about your dress. You need to care how you feel in your dress, because you're gonna look back at those wedding photos for the rest of your life and you're gonna wanna think, oh, I felt so beautiful in that dress. So really just own it for yourself. It's about you that day. It's about you. It's about how you feel. So really enjoy and love the dress that you choose. Don't settle for anything less than the best that you feel in a dress. So that leads me into number 4, which is the day of the wedding regrets. I wish, looking back, that I had allowed for way more time and way more help to set up the reception of my wedding. We had a very low budget wedding, and maybe I'll do a video just specifically on wedding planning, wedding budget, kind of the nitty-gritty details of how we planned our wedding. But we had quite a low budget wedding, so that entailed relying on friends and family and DIY and being really creative and crafty with planning our wedding. And that being said, I just didn't expect the setting up of the reception, meaning like tables and decor and things, to take that much time. But I didn't know the day of my wedding because I had a beautiful day of coordinator and bridesmaids and maid of honor, my sister, shout out Olivia, that didn't tell me this was the case, but it took way more time to set up the tables than anticipated, and like double, triple check and just have more than you think you will need in terms of flowers and table things. Just like have an abundance in case things break, in case they actually end up needing more florals to put on the table, etc. I would even suggest like doing like sort of a run through, like do a practice table and see how long it takes you to set it up if you have your friends or your family or even your coordinator setting up the table for you on the day of your wedding. Best decision, we had a day of coordinator. She saved our life. Like we could not have done that on our own or had even just friends and family do that for us. It was a brilliant decision, and shout out Julie. She was the woman, like literally people still talk about her today. Like she ran the show, she made it happen. Give yourself a day of coordinator. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, final wedding day regret. This one's, I don't know if this is just for the ladies. I feel like it's just for the ladies. Girls, don't even try to process the night of your wedding. Don't even begin to think about all the little things that happened in your day the night of your wedding. When you drive off with your fresh new husband, enjoy being with him. When you lie in bed that night, just enjoy his skin against your skin and being together for the first time as Mr. and Mrs. as a newlywed couple, and just tell yourself, I'll be able to process and think about all the little details of my day some other day. Today, I'm going to enjoy being with my husband. And I think I look back on the wedding night and I think I wish that I was way more intentional about being present with Elijah versus my mind trying to process all that had happened that day. I could hardly fall asleep that night because my mind was buzzing with like adrenaline and processing everything that had happened. And I look back and I'm like, I wish I just enjoyed being with him. And even for myself, like the wedding night was like, woo, just was what it was. But really taking a moment to relax, like taking a moment for yourself and just deep breaths, like that just happened and here we are, and just allowing yourself to soak up the moment. Like you are with your new husband. You're with your husband. Like that's so beautiful in itself. And I have to say, looking back, even though I'm sharing 5 regrets of my wedding day, there's a zillion things that I'm so thankful for that went so perfect at my wedding day. But I look back and if I could say anything, I'm like, just take it in. The most beautiful thing about that day isn't what silverware you had on the table or what flower arrangement you had on the table or what song you danced to. The most beautiful thing, and I truly mean this, I look back now on the day, and the most beautiful thing about the day is the moment that was happening in our relationship, was the promise, the covenant that happened that day. The most beautiful thing was the sealing of our yes. It was perfect. That is the most important thing about the day. And I look back and all those minor details and all those little things that I regret about the day, they don't compare to the yes of saying yes to Elijah for the rest of my life. So yes, I have little tips and tricks for you, but without a shadow of a doubt, just look at the yes and the promise you're making to this person. That is the most beautiful thing about a wedding. That's why everyone shows up. Yeah, obviously they want to dance and want some good food, but they're showing up because they love you and they are supporting your marriage and your relationship with this person. That's the most beautiful thing about marriage. The most beautiful thing about a wedding is simply that. So just take it all in. And what do we think? What do we think about a part 2 of wedding day tips and tricks? The things that I loved about my wedding, the things that I would suggest for you to do as well. Let me know if that sounds like a good video. We could do a little part 2 of this series, maybe even pull Elijah in on what he would recommend for wedding day tips and tricks. But until then, you guys, like always, do not forget to like and subscribe and comment. Let me know, 1, if you're married, what are your wedding day tips and tricks and maybe even regrets that you have? And if you're not married, let me know what you found most helpful about these wedding day regrets. Okay, until next time.